Welcome to fourth grade language. This is for lesson 151. We're looking at pages 231 and 232. The 231 is just the start of the new unit, and so there's no work to do on this page, but then the second page there's four different exercises to do. So we'll look at that, and I will make sure that we understand all of that. But you should have taken the test yesterday, the last lesson, and so I hope you did well on that and that you understood the prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections, and any of the dictionary stuff on there. Hopefully you were able to get that completed. But we're going to introduce this new unit, Unit 14, using words correctly. Have you ever played a matching game? If you turn over one blue ball, what must you find to get the match? Yes, another blue ball. The two must be the same. Subjects and verbs in sentences must also match. If you have a singular verb or a singular subject, you must have a singular verb. If you have a plural subject, you must have a plural verb. Okay? In our sentences, we want to first find our subject, and then we decide if the subject is singular or plural, and then choose the singular subject or a plural verb for the plural subject. Singular verbs usually end in S, okay? So singular verbs usually end in S, and the ones that don't end in S are usually your plural verbs, okay? So, in this sentence, okay, we'll look at this one as A and this one as B. This was just to show us what commonly singular verbs are end in S, okay? Seth is or are the fastest runner on the track team. Okay, so first of all, we have to find our subject. So what's the sentence talking about? Who's it talking about? What's our subject? Seth, right? Okay, we can underline Seth. Is Seth singular or plural? And another way we can ask this, is Seth one person or many? One person, right? Okay, so Seth is singular, so one. Seth. And then we said that singular verbs usually end in S. Is there one of our verbs ending in S? Is or are? Is. Okay, so let's read it with is in there. Okay, Seth is the fastest runner on the track team. Does that sound right? Yes, and that would be the correct answer. Okay, is our singular verb. Are would be the plural verb. Okay, so Seth is, this is singular. I'm going to put an S over there, and this is singular, okay? So we're going to look at the second sentence in B. The choir members sings or sing well, okay? So what is our subject in this sentence? Okay, it would be members, all right? So we just go with the one word, and it's that noun. And so choir describes members, and the describes members, but we would go with members as our subject, okay? So members, is members singular or plural, or is it one or many? Well, if it's a choir, I hope it's many, because otherwise it's a solo. So members, it ends in S, right? So it tells us that it's more than one, right? So the choir members. Now we want to find our verb that matches that. So the choir members sings well, or the choir members sing well? Sing well, right? So this is plural and this is plural. And notice that this one does not end in an S. Now, that's most of them. Sometimes you will have a singular verb that ends, it's a very strange situation, but sometimes it ends in S, but most of the time they do not end in S, okay? So plural verbs do not end in S. So sing, the choir members sing well. And so you want the S, the plural in the subject, the noun, usually has an S. but the verb does not have the S. And here, the subject doesn't have the S, but the verb does have the S, okay? So that's one way to remember it for that. Sometimes you might be unsure about which of the words are correct. Your teacher and parents have to correct you for using expressions like he don't. Here's mom and dad. Go lay down. Should be go lie down. Study this chapter, listen to good speakers, read good books, and speak good English. You will soon learn to use words correctly. Start by learning these simple rules for subject and verb agreement. We have learned that nouns and pronouns can be singular or plural. Verbs can also be singular or plural. A singular subject takes a singular verb. Okay, what we've just been saying. Our teacher sings very well. I hope you think that. Tyler is the fastest runner on the track team. A plural subject takes a plural verb. The choir members sing well. Our boys are faster runners than the boys on the other team. The pronoun you always takes a plural verb, okay? Noah, you are late. Boys, you are early, okay? So you always takes a plural. We don't say you is, okay? An S ending is often a sign of a singular verb and a sign of a plural subject. So a singular verb would be runs, but plural noun or subject is dogs, okay? The verbs am, is, was, has, and does are singular. Notice how all of them, except for am, end in S. And the verbs are, were, have, and do are plural. When a sentence contains a verb phrase, it is the helping verb that must agree with the subject, okay? The farmer is harvesting his crops. The cows are grazing in the pasture, okay? So only the helping verb is that one that agrees with it. All right, so in Think A, turning the page to 232, write sing, S-I-N-G, period, in the blank, if the following subjects and verbs are singular. Write P-L, period, if they're plural. Okay? So in number 1, students recite. Okay, students recite. Is students one or many? Is it singular or plural? It's plural, right? It's many, right? It's talking about more than one. And recite would be the correct verb. So these are correct. You're just writing plural in the blank, okay? So PL for your for number 1. And let's do number 2. She says. Okay, is she talking about one person or many? Just one, right? Okay, so she would be singular and says ends in S, so that's also singular. So S-I-N-G, period, would be what you write on number 2. All right, I'll let you do 3 through 14 on your own on that, okay? Think B, on notebook paper, make the singular subjects and verbs and think A plural. Make the plural one singular, okay? So you may have to change a pronoun to a different pronoun that would be a singular pronoun or a plural pronoun, depending on what you have. And the verbs, you would just be making it singular or plural. So either adding an S or ES or taking it away, or you might change the form of a helping verb like was to were or were to was, that sort of thing. So just keep that in mind. And so you're going to do those. And it does give you the example of the very first 2. Student recites, and she says to they say, okay? So that should help you. And then think C, write yes in the blank if the following subjects and verbs agree, and write no if they don't agree, okay? So read them together. Number 1, it says pirates robs. Does that agree or not agree? It doesn't agree. So no, you'd write no. Okay. Number 2, he don't. Does that agree or does that not agree? It doesn't agree. So you'd write no, all right? And then with Think D on notebook paper, and you can use the same paper for these because there's 14 on the top and 20 on the bottom. You should be able to fit that on one page. If not, you can use the back a little bit. On notebook paper, rewrite correctly all the subjects and verbs in Think C that do not agree. Change the verbs so that they will agree with the subject. So change the verb, not the noun, okay? So you can just change the verb on those. Keep the nouns where if they're plural, keep them plural. If they're singular, keep them singular, but change the verb to match it, okay? All right, and so the very first one, the first two, I'll get you the change on that. So pirates rob is what you should have. You just drop the S on robs, and then he doesn't should be the correct verb there, okay? So that's pretty simple. You're just going through and doing all of that, and then you can, when you're done with that, that is the end of language for today. So we will see you in the next class, probably reading.